And we're live.
What up, y'all? Welcome to Pro Wrestling Throwdown for the week of July 5th, 2021. I'm Caleb Black. This is Luke the Big Dog Williams. Our in-studio producer, the mighty Max Fury, is setting up our Twitch stream. So give us just a couple minutes while we get this shit together. We've been planning for a while now. To be frank, we've planned as bad as much as what you got. However, it's going to be a fun day here at Pro Wrestling Throwdown. Luke?
It's Monday.
It is Monday.
Normally
we do this on Saturday.
We do. The July 4th weekend took place.
Yeah.
And here we are.
What?
This phone will fit.
That's the phone we always use.
No, we used his other one. This is the bigger one.
But hand me the phone. Just keep
hand
people
him the phone,
entertained
by
here.
God. Well, look, if I'm nothing if not entertaining.
Unless one of you guys can get it.
I mean, we'll talk. I'll tell you stuff.
Usually,
I'll tell you stuff about professional wrestling that y'all didn't know. Like, did you know that Ric Flair botched the finish of the second match with Ricky Dragon Steamboat?
I heard that.
Yeah, Ric Flair said that. This is just what we're talking about right now because, frankly, well, all right, look, to be honest with you, I've been drinking. It's my vacation. Everyone who knows me knows that. And now we're setting up this live stream between Twitch and YouTube Live for the first time ever.
Yes.
So we got some hiccups.
All right, hit the start stream button and we'll be live on Twitch.
Hit the button.
Purple button.
Big purple button.
And
Real freaky nut.
We're live on Twitch.
What
as
up,
well.
y'all? We live on Twitch also. Welcome
Come
to
for
Pro
this way,
Wrestling
Max.
Throwdown, baby.
Keep coming.
Yeah,
Keep
come
coming,
all over.
Keep coming. Stop. We're good.
Oh, don't come anymore. Come a little closer. Don't you dare, sir. Don't you dare, sir. Sir. All right, y'all. Welcome to Pro Wrestling Throwdown for the week of July 5th, 2021. I'm Caleb Black. This is Luke the Big Dog Williams, along with our in-studio producer, the mighty Max Fury.
Here.
And we are talking professional wrestling for the last couple weeks. As y'all knew, we took a break for Father's Day.
Yes.
We took a break throughout the week into July 4th. It's now July 5th, and we decided we had to have a show today. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, I don't know how today's going to go.
Well, no, but I mean, we're live, so anything
We
can
are
happen.
live. It's true. Anything can happen.
No more.
If you got
videos.
money, more stuff can happen.
It's also true.
Yeah.
On Twitch, there's a button.
Yeah. That's not. I don't wear my hat like that, frankly.
But no, there's been a lot of news to take place.
There has
this
been.
week.
Let's get into some of the news that we know of. I'm out of camera. There I am. First and foremost, Thea Trinidad, a.k.a. Zelina Vega, has made her return to the WWE following her release this previous season. As we've all known, this has been a record year for releases in the WWE. But Zelina Vega is back and is a contender in the Money in the Bank Women's Ladder Match qualifiers.
It's going to be interesting to see if they've just brought her back to fill out the roster of people who have left.
Yeah.
Or this is a permanent thing to where she's come back, but that also brings up the point, where's Aleister Black going?
Well, Aleister Black's coming back to the WWE. If anybody thinks otherwise, they're insane. Zelina just got hired back. Black is in a prime spot. We're directly between Survivor Series, Money in the Bank, leading into the Royal Rumble. Aleister Black, from my perspective, from my prediction, will be back in the WWE at least in a couple of months.
Well, I mean, it gives time for everything to blow over. I think that the creative jumped the gun.
Yeah.
When they decided to let go who they did. Samoa Joe was fortunate enough that Triple H was like, hey, you don't want him on the main roster, we'll put him on NXT.
Well, and reportedly, too, Aleister Black was high on Vince's creative list.
True.
So is this a Nick Khan move where Black got cut because he wasn't exactly doing a lot of live TV? And is he a talent they want to bring back? And obviously we use Zelina as a basing point because, frankly, the WWE needs all of the top female talent they can get.
That's true.
That's not an argument. If you don't sign them, AEW will. And really, AEW's women division is stacked.
It really is.
It's huge. Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker. I know I'm only mentioning two names, but those are two of the top women in the industry. So how many women does Vince want to give over to the competition while you still have Rhea Ripley, Charlotte, the women on NXT, to balance out their competitive format? Thea Trinidad, Zelina Vega, is a huge get. But we know she's married to Alistair, so is he going to be in the conversation? I think he will.
Well, and then with the release of the Iconics not that long ago,
yes,
neither one of them have been able to actually work for anywhere in the United States due to visa problems.
Right.
Which is a shame because both of them are very talented and a fantastic tag team for any female tag team division or any female division in professional wrestling.
Right.
They're two of the most entertaining people on TV.
But you also have to consider, too, what Nick Khan said when he said we're not really concerned with who wrestlers' spouses are. Now, that could mean I genuinely think that's directed more at Lana than anyone. Miro is the current TNT champion on AEW. He's going to be a huge star there. Is his concern, hey, if we keep Lana off TV, regardless of what happens, she's going there anyway.
Right.
If she doesn't, they're crazy for not signing her because if you look back at Rusev's especially early career, Lana was pivotal as his manager and really built up Rusev's character. Now, without the stronghold of the WWE holding her back, I mean, she could be really great in building Miro. But Nick Khan going out of his way to saying, oh, we're not really concerned with who you're married with. Let's look at all the cross-promotional couples.
Right.
Britt Baker's Adam Cole's fiance. Miro's married to Lana. Thea Trinidad, formerly, again, a.k.a. Selena Vega, is married to Aleister Black. This is probably a period of time where more so than we've ever seen for major promotions, where there were couples commingled. Sean Spears.
Yes.
His wife was, or is,
Peyton Royce.
Peyton Royce, who was recently released. But so Nick Khan, has to say, like, look, we don't care who you're married to. We're letting you go. And if you go there, that's fine. Or they're saying, hey, we don't care who you're married to. This is our programming. This is where we want you.
Well, also the whole Lana thing where she said she had so many days till she was going to spill the coffee or whatever. Man,
spill the tea.
Her big news was that the Thunderdome crowd, the videos of the people were, what was the word she used for it? Staged.
But let's focus on that, though. Lana's in a unique opportunity where her no-compete clause isn't affecting her. So she can, what I think is going to happen is this is going to be a segment of vignettes or stories on Lana's behalf where she's going to be like, okay, yeah, the first thing was, well, if you didn't know, it was staged, the Thunderdome. We all knew that.
Well, yeah, it's obvious.
But, in the second week, she can be like, oh, well, this wasn't where creative wanted to go with this person, and I know that for a fact. Within the 4th to 5th week of Lana being a free agent, she could really shed some light on the WWE's creative process.
Yeah, but she has to do it smart and strategically. She has to be. You can't just come out and be like off the gun, and be like, "This is what's wrong."
I agree with that. But if I were developing a new podcast where I needed subscribers, would I give all of the information that I have away the first time?
No.
We didn't do that.
No, that's true.
And you and I know a lot of the guys. I know guys personally in AEW. I know them on fucking first name basis. But we don't give all of our information up front. I know 2 guys in NXT on first name basis, but we don't give what they tell us up front. So you have to look at like the way Lana's developing a brand. Lana could sign with AEW. True. And while that would be profitable, wouldn't it be more profitable if she sat on the sidelines for, let's just say, 12 weeks, all right, 3 months. In 3 months, she could give a lot of information away.
She really could.
But it's got to be like the appropriate amount of information that's going to transition to her going to AEW. Because she could end on a note when she was like, well, this is what they didn't want to do with me and Rusev. She could give this whole dialogue of like, this is what we wanted to do. This is what they didn't want to do. But this is what we wanted to do when AEW signed off on.
Right.
And then the following week, Lana's on AEW. And her and Rusev are doing exactly what they wanted to do.
Correct.
So her giving away the Thunderdome thing, yeah, we all knew it was staged. But let's be clear, no other WWE superstar has come out and said that. Now, we've seen people who've signed on to do the Thunderdome saying, oh, well, they prompt this response, or they want you to act a certain way. That's different from a fan's perspective than Adam Cole saying, yeah, when I super kicked Roddy, they wanted everyone to go nuts.
Right.
And they told everyone to go nuts. They told the 300 fans, no, we'll say 300 fans, 300 screens, but that's 12,000 fans in perspective.
Right.
So that's basically the WWE coming out to 12,000 people and saying, hey, when Adam Cole super kicks Johnny Gargano, all of you need to pop, which of course they would.
Oh, yeah.
So Lana's perspective on that regard is, I mean, that's pretty well warranted because she can lead into other information. And again, if you want people to buy into what you're selling, why would you give the cow away when you can sell the milk gallon by gallon?
Right.
Right?
And to get off the subject, NJPW has put a hold on the talks with the WWE.
They have, and here's the deal. They were going hot and heavy for a minute, and then Will Ospreay surrendered the IWGP title. Now, what we know has happened so far is Ospreay dropped the belt and Shingo Takagi picked up the title.
Yes.
It was during this transition, though, that NJPW decided that they would operate internally. Now, what that could mean was they were going to use the NJPW World title as maybe a bargaining chip with the WWE. For those of you who aren't aware, the first ever IWGP World Champion was also a WWF World Champion at the time. What was his name?
Hulk Hogan.
You're goddamn right it was. So, flash forward 35 years later, we've got all this talk of interpromotional bargaining, interpromotional mingling going on. The WWE is really out of this conversation with the exception of their talks with MLW.
Right.
But Will Ospreay takes the IWGP title, and they've got a verified feud within the WWE that could have culminated into something in that regard. That is, of course, Ricochet.
Yes.
Where if you don't follow regular independent wrestling, Ricochet and Will Ospreay built an entire feud over their athletics. It was always I can do this. I'm sorry. Anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah.
So in the Final J Cup, which is a match that often gets referenced, these two guys went out, they did every athletic thing they could to do to counter each other. So if you take that into consideration, the WWE is now no longer part of the culmination conversation. And we've got, Will Ospreay just won the NJPW title. We've got a guy who has been here with him forever, that's Ricochet.
Right.
We could build something off of that. Well, Ospreay vacates the title. WWE changes creative with Ricochet. And IWGP NJPW goes with Shingo Takagi, who is the best technical wrestler as far as NJPW is concerned. Even more so, I would say, than Okada. Of course, they're going to halt conversations with WWE only for the reason that if you look at the roster for the WWE, who's going to compete with Shingo Takagi?
Nobody.
I wouldn't say nobody.
Shinsuke,
Seth Rollins. If you wanted to put him in a mainstream feud immediately, Roman Reigns. But
it depends on how you book it.
If the WWE wants to feed its developmental talent, NXT talent to him, sure. You get a lot of great matches out of that. But what's going to happen when Shingo, if Shingo were to come up against a guy like Karrion Kross? They're not going to bury Karrion Kross because he's their future heavyweight champion.
He's their NXT. He is their guy.
Right. They're not going to bury Balor because Balor, first of all, that's going to get too much audience traction from NJPW fans alone.
Correct.
Everyone knows who the leader of the Bullet Club is. Originally, and always, it's going to be Finn Balor. So that's going to take away from the WWE's audience. It's going to take away from the NJPW audience because even then, they've seen the progression of how the Bullet Club goes. You know, sure, we get Shingo and Balor, but I want Shingo and Styles.
Right.
Well, now Shingo's got to take the belt to SmackDown. And that's a totally different animal because SmackDown is under Vince's guys and not Triple H's.
Correct.
So,
I mean, it would be interesting to see the dynamic of what could have been. Or what could be.
What should be, realistically. But as far as Raw and SmackDown are concerned, NJPW is not going to get any traction on those programs. Absolutely, something between NJPW and NXT would be phenomenal.
It really would.
And like we were just talking, like, sure, they wouldn't job out Shingo Takagi to Karrion Kross, nor should they. But think about the talent that could match up against Karrion Kross. Wrestling that style, that strong style, that Japanese hard-hitting style. Okay, who's that guy? Let's just say, for instance, they pick Tanahashi. Tanahashi could have incredible matches with Karrion Kross, with Adam Cole, with Roderick Strong, with even some of the lower card guys. But if he goes into the WWE universe, let's say he lands on SmackDown. Is Tanahashi going to wrestle Kevin Owens? Is he going to wrestle Sami Zayn?
I mean, the matches would be phenomenal.
But here's where it leads. All roads on SmackDown lead to Roman.
At this point in
time.
time.
Is IWGP going to sacrifice Tanahashi to Roman?
I guess it depends on what the paycheck looks like.
Sure, but
if everyone could come out, if it was a non-decisive finish.
If both companies came out looking the right way, sure. But also, Tanahashi's not IWGP champion. So him losing to another world champion, okay, he lost. But what you want as a fan is Takagi versus Roman.
Yeah.
Which will never happen.
No.
Ever. Nor should it, because really, either Roman gets exposed for not having the technical ability that Shingo does, or Shingo gets exposed for not translating to the American audience as well as Roman does. So why would NJPW make that investment? It was different when there were a ton of gaijin running NJPW 5 years ago.
True.
All of those guys wrestle for AEW and Impact now. There's nobody left in NJPW that crosses that meter except Jay White. But Jay White, he's not champion right now.
Well, not only that, but you don't know how much longer Jay White will actually stay in Japan.
Right. And that's the other part, too, is, let's get into conversations about contracts. Shingo Takagi just won the NJPW title. It's safe to assume he's got a couple years left with them. What if he doesn't?
Right.
What if he's only on for 6 more months? And the beautiful thing about NJPW is they keep their contract negotiations pretty close to the chest.
Right.
So, ideally, he's champ for 6 more months. He beats everybody in NJPW. 6 months and 1 day, he signs a developmental deal with NXT. 3 weeks later, he does a job to fucking Karrion Kross. No fault on Karrion Kross's part.
Right.
But what value does Shingo have to Japan after that? And with the same thing, why would Vince send an American champion or an American competitor to NJPW who, one, isn't known in the market? Two, does it really matter if an NXT UK competitor who's on the lower card goes to Japan and loses? No. Now, if Walter went and lost, that'd be a big deal. But it doesn't only affect NXT UK's bottom line; it affects all of the UK territories' bottom line. So Walter won't do it, but Bronson Reed.
Well, Bronson Reed did just drop the North American Championship this past week,
and that's my point. If he goes to Japan tomorrow and it's this whole NXT NJPW crossover feud, sure. But if Bronson Reed loses, who does it affect? He just beat a former champion who just lost. Also, would NJPW sell up their world champion to a guy who just lost another world title? Well, or developmental second-tier championship?
Let me step away real quick just for a second with the Bronson Reed thing.
Yeah.
The man is money.
Oh,
NXT,
I agree.
The man is money. I do not understand putting the championship on him just to take the championship off of him. In my opinion, he's probably one of the biggest, most agile big men since Bam Bam Bigelow.
Agreed.
Has more charisma than almost half the roster. Yet you take the championship off. Now, I understand building people with a strong foundation of building off of other people's success and their creativity. However, he could be the guy.
He could be, but let's illustrate a different perspective. If they took the belt off of him, that normally means one of two things. One, you're going for a bigger belt, or two, you're being relegated to lower card. I don't think Bronson Reed's getting relegated to lower card. Let's look at NXT UK. Okay?
Okay.
They're already advertising Walter Dragunov 2, which is going to be probably match of the year.
Every bit of what the first one was.
Right. But when Walter wins, he needs a viable opponent. Who better than a guy who's big, that can move? You compared
pregnant, I get it.
You compared Bronson Reed to Bam Bam. Right?
Yeah.
So if Walter in this universe, in the NXT UK universe, is the biggest, hardest striker, why would you not get the next biggest, hardest powerhouse? It's Taz and Bam Bam.
Fair.
Bronson Reed drops the NXT North American title to pursue the NXT UK title. And let's be fair, if NXT UK only runs major events once every 2 or 3 months, that's 3 main events because there's no one who's going to say fucking Walter and Bronson Reed isn't going to sell. I want to see those 3 matches.
I would love to see that myself.
Right.
The only thing that I have a problem with is Yes, I get it. He's a viable option to
Oh,
go
sure.
to UK, and I get it. Also, viable option for Walter. But here's the thing. Don't you think they should have built him just a little bit more with a little bit more credibility before you would do that?
Here's the rub. He didn't lose the NXT North American title super clean. The guy he lost to, whose name I can't remember, is part of a faction.
Sway. Isaiah.
Yeah. No.
Swerve, rather.
No, he didn't lose to Swerve Scott. He lost to one of the other guys.
I believe he lost to Swerve.
Was it? Either way,
yeah.
Swerve Scott's a part of this faction now. The point is that you can take the belt off of someone, even in a clean way, and make them a viable contender up the road.
Right.
The point with him is, one, his size, his viability, that only markets to a certain demographic. Now, in North America, we all like him because he's different. But let's look at the minority vote in that says, you know what? He's not very tall. He's not very muscular. It doesn't appear that he's aesthetically great. And would you really want to see Bronson Reed versus Karrion Kross? I would.
Yes.
You would.
Yes.
But would the average wrestler want to? Translate to the UK audience when body factor isn't really that much of the conversation. No. It's about how much you go. It's about how hard you hit. Everyone in the UK is going to pay for Bronson Reed and Walter.
And I get that the way that they would pay for it. My thing is, in a billing process, in a booking standpoint, you would want to build Bronson Reed as a name for him to viably be a contender and a threat to Walter. You want that name value behind him too.
Oh, I agree.
And they had the chance to do that, and they didn't.
But he's going to come into the NXT UK lineup as a former NXT North American champion. He's not necessarily North American world champion. He's got some gold, and he's got some believability. Also, let's all be fair. As much as I'm a Walter guy, it's time for him to get called up.
Right. It's time. What I'm saying is, though, is like, yes, I get it. He's a former NXT North American champion. And that's great. And that's a good build. When you put it on the marquee, former NXT North American champion
versus NXT UK champion.
But when you look at it, and most wrestling fans nowadays that are in the know, that watch enough content, that watch enough content in the background, who'd he beat? He won the title and he didn't defend it but twice. Just putting the name former North American heavyweight champion on there isn't enough to sell tickets for me.
Okay, however, use that same mentality with Keith Lee. Keith Lee was North American champion for maybe 2.5 months, 3 months.
Yes, but Keith Lee had the name value before the WWE and before NXT.
So did Bronson Reed.
He did, but not as much enough to challenge Walter.
However, that's Bronson Reed's presence was more heavily on the UK circuit. So to challenge Walter for the UK title is absolutely in his wheelhouse.
And I understand that. But
I wouldn't book Keith Lee versus Walter.
No.
I'd book Bronson Reed versus
Correct.
Walter.
And I'm not
the guy who should be challenging Walter is still hurt. So
I'm not arguing that point. Yeah. My point is simply, yes, I get that he's big in the UK bracket, and that's cool. And for the fans over there that would watch this match, that's fantastic. That's a sellout.
But can you
translate
you program that to NXT on Wednesday night?
Yes, that's exactly
or Tuesday nights now. Well, you couldn't, but fortunately NXT UK is still WWE only product.
Well, NXT UK is also in my opinion, a very superior form of NXT.
And even contrary to my argument, would you want to give up Bronson Reed?
No.
From syndicated TV to put him on the internet show?
No.
I wouldn't personally, because again, that's your Taz, that's your different guy who Bronson Reed could wrestle Adam Cole tomorrow. It's a different match.
Yes.
He could wrestle Johnny tomorrow. It's a different match. He could wrestle Karrion Kross. It's a different match. All of those things about him make him stand out.
But you see, that's my whole point. Would you want to let him go? No, not right now.
Absolutely not. Not right now. Maybe, we can say maybe in 3 months
if you'd have gave him a 6-month title reign,
if
6 months from now, then
if he goes into a program with the guy who just won the North American title for a while, he wins in a non-title fashion. Then maybe he gets a short program for the world title against Karrion Kross.
Right.
Then bump him over to NXT. But also along the way, you have to make him a viable competitor for Walter.
Right.
Now, can you, after having just taken the belt off?
I don't know.
And that's what's going to kill him because, again, that's for you and me, that's Taz and Bam Bam.
Right.
Walter and fucking Bronson Reed take our money. But for the average fan, all right, Walter's not very aesthetically pleasing. He hits hard.
Right.
But he's not chiseled on stone.
No.
Yeah, there's Bronson Reed. And again, UK fans are very forgiving of that fact. But on Tuesday nights, USA Primetime Network, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central, on television in the US, are you going to feature Bronson Reed at the top to build that thing with Walter? Or is it better just to get him off TV in the US, send him to the UK, and build that competitor for Walter there? That's a hard question. Because we've seen, again, we saw Keith Lee, even Dempsey in the early days of NXT.
All right, we got some messages on here that I hadn't seen.
Yanni, whoa, Kofi Kingston comes out. Ricochet is super underutilized wrestler. Look, I'm going to tell you stories about Trevor. He is a very underutilized wrestler. However, Ricochet wrestles a style that is not complementary to everyone. Ricochet is super athletic, super enigmatic. But if you put Ricochet in the ring with a guy, let's say, for example, that has a low base, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens right now is a mainstay WWE guy.
Right.
He is. No one can argue that. He's a main eventer, former world champion, has a lot of potential.
I can tell you straight up, that's not a match I'd want to see.
Him and Ricochet would have a very indie-rific match. They do all the shit they did in GPW or GCW or ROH 10 years ago. I don't pay to see Kevin Owens do the shit he did 10 years ago. I could still watch old Ring of Honor for that.
Right.
The same conversation with Ricochet. I love Ricochet's athleticism. And again, I'm one of the only guys in the room who's worked with Trevor from back then. I know him. He's incredible. But 10 years later, do I still want him seeing the same flippy stuff? And again, he's better at the flippy stuff than anybody. That's including Ospreay, that's including Vikingo, or anybody else on the indies right now. Ricochet's the best. That's not a fucking argument. The argument is it a niche act that's going to get old soon? And can he be a viable world heavyweight champion doing the stuff he does? Ray got away with it, but Ray got away with it under very special circumstances. Ray was exposed to the American audience for 20 years before he got the world title, and Eddie passed away 3 months before Ray got the world title. It's a shitty way to look at it, but Ray never would have won the Royal Rumble if Eddie didn't die. He wouldn't have.
It's fair. It's a fair.
Yeah, he may have a couple years down the road,
yes.
But at that time when they were priming Eddie to be a main event guy on SmackDown, going into the world title picture with Batista losing, going into a WrestleMania spot with Michaels, the guy that was set to win the Royal Rumble that year was Orton. That's a fact. Eddie passed away. They changed all the stuff, and that's how Orton got put on the back burner. And I got a whole deal coming up with that later.
Are you saying Ray killed Eddie? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying Eddie's in hell. Like Ray said, it's a joke. I'm sorry.
Yanni agrees.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
That's what
for the
Randy said that, not me.
For the people who are watching here,
I also
YouTube,
know Randy's ex-wife.
For the people who are watching on Twitch, if you have any questions that you want to feed us, any
my dad knows
information that
Randy's
you
dad
want to know, please feel free to put it in the chats.
Because my dad
we
beat
will
up
catch
Bob
the
Orton
chats
Jr.
now
in the
that
bathroom.
we actually have the chat on the side here that we didn't see
Yes,
before.
we do. I'm going to look up here at this one.
That one has nothing yet.
Nothing. Yeah.
YouTube, we actually can see where you're posting now. This is a first-time live stream.
Oh, yeah.
So
we're doing this as a practice run because we're going to do a live watch-along, one-night stand in a couple weeks. We wanted to do it this week, but we didn't have all the bugs worked out, so we're just trying to figure this out. We're going to get the split screen figured out. This is just like a chance for us to do a big show.
Yes.
Live, interactive with all the fans. Say hi, Max.
Hi, Max.
There you go.
He said hi.
As far as what we were saying, Ricochet, again, phenomenal wrestler. Ricochet is not world champion material yet. Now, in a year, he slows down a little bit only to make what he's doing more special. To get in with the heavyweight contenders, fucking great. Right now, Ricochet should be Intercontinental Champion.
Agreed.
But I don't see him going farther beyond that.
No.
It's the same thing. A lot of guys forget Dolph Ziggler was primed to be world champion much earlier than he ever was. Much earlier. Everybody saw Dolph and saw, oh, he's the next Shawn Michaels. He's the next fucking greatest seller in the world. He's the next this and that. And he did all that. But Shawn Michaels was world champion in 96. It's a different atmosphere.
It is. Well,
when you have the same guy built here, and that's the argument with Ricochet. Yeah, he's taller than Ray.
Ricochet could have been higher than the Intercontinental title if they wouldn't have fed him to Brock the way they did.
Well, I see Brock beat AJ, Bryan.
No, and I get that.
Ricochet,
it's the way they built it, and I get that.
Ricochet. But my thing with Ricochet is Ricochet's not a world championship guy until he starts wrestling like a world title guy. And unfortunately, look, let's just call it a spade a spade. It's the world heavyweight title.
Correct.
You have to fight. You have to work. I cannot flip you in a fight, but if you hit me with a solid fucking forearm, I'm going to go down.
Right.
No flipping is going to avoid that. This is something I've always, you can attest to this. I've always taught the flippy guys. I came in the business when flippy guys were super popular. But at that time, I was already 6'2" and 220 pounds. I ain't doing a backflip.
Right.
What I'm going to do is punch in the mouth.
I did the moonsaults and stuff.
But
but it was a different time.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
And I did it in the period of time where there were flippy guys. When, again, I made more money than Ricochet on the Indies. Right?
What happened to that?
Well, yeah. But
right?
Here's my point. Yes, it's very cool. It's very flashy. It's very awesome. But Muhammad Ali danced when he boxed.
True.
He also had the hardest right hand before Mike Tyson than any recorded boxer in the world.
Also true.
Right? So in the boxing terms, Mike Tyson, not a flashy boxer. No. Never flashy, but hard-hitting.
Well, he didn't have to be flashy.
But look at how professional wrestling reflects.
True.
Jerry Lawler ran the AWA Memphis Territories and NWA Memphis Territories forever on the fact that it looked like he hit you harder than anybody else.
Yeah.
This was a time when the Midnight Express was at their popularity. Flair was at his popularity. Sting was making more money in the business than anybody. But absolutely nobody looks back and says, you know what? Jerry Lawler didn't look like he didn't hit that hard. Why? Because Jerry Lawler fucking hit that hard. That's what people are interested in when you get to the higher tier performance. Triple H, a student of Harley Race. So was I. Student of Harley Race. Young in the business. Young at a period of time when guys like Brian Pillman, X-Pac, Shawn Michaels, even himself were coming up and were doing flippy, flamboyant wrestling.
Right.
Triple H didn't do any of that. He did the Harley Race high lift. He did a nice drop kick. That was it. Flash forward 10 years. Where's Triple H? In 2005 versus 95.
Right. No, you're right.
Top of the mountain.
Yep.
What did he do differently? Nothing. He hit that fucking drop knee and arguably one of the nicest spine busters in wrestling.
Arguably.
But in 2005, no one remembers Triple H not being world champion in 05. Why? Because he was champion for 10 out of 12 months.
True.
He also wrestled Chris Benoit, Randy Orton, Dave Bautista. He lost Dave Bautista on the tail end. Shawn Michaels, Edge, Chris Jericho, all the top names in the business, and didn't do a fucking thing differently and didn't do anything flashy. Now, I use that argument to translate over to someone like Jericho. Jericho in the early days was one of the best light heavyweight cruiserweights in WCW, arguably ever. So much that WCW offered him extra $15,000 on his contract to re-sign. Right?
Yeah, no, you're correct.
So Jericho does the flashy, high-flying stuff and then realizes going in, he's got to suit up to be in the world title picture. Right?
Right.
So he shows up. Who's the first guy Jericho interacts with? It's The Rock.
Yeah.
In the world title picture.
Yeah.
I use all of that to get back to Ricochet. Yes, Ricochet's flashy. He's flamboyant. He's fun. He's never going to be world title guy, not right now. No. Nor should he be. Kofi did the flippy shit, and it took him 15, 16 years to be considered world title guy.
That's true. I mean, you can't argue with facts.
Right.
Those are facts. Kofi Kingston, it took him a long
time, and not undeservedly.
No.
Totally earned.
Yeah.
But when you look at fans' perspective, Kofi was in the right environment with the right opponents that, you know what? His style lent to that. We're in 2021 now. Let's look back at just 2014. Who are the heavy hitters in the WWE?
2014.
2014. I'll name them all for you right now.
Go ahead.
Roman.
Yes.
Cena.
Yeah.
Batista for a singular stint.
Yeah.
Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
Rollins.
Yep. Ambrose.
Moxley and Bryan.
Yep. That's it.
That's 7 guys, 2 programs.
You could throw in the
12
Miz.
months.
You could throw
the
in
Miz.
the Miz.
Yeah. Well, the Miz really peaked in 2012.
No, but I mean,
was still a viable contender.
Still viable.
But at the same point, did any of the guys that I just named off do anything super flashy, super flippy, or super unbelievable? No, they didn't. Simple, hard-hitting offense. Ricochet isn't going to be top guy until he can do that plus what he does.
Agreed.
Is my whole point. That's what that whole last 20-minute tangent was on.
All right. Normally on our weekly show, on the episodic part, we do birthdays.
Birthdays and bullshit.
We have just a very short list this week. We're gonna go ahead and get into that. Give the people some levity into all this serious
fucking
stuff that we've been talking about, and then we'll come back to a discussion on something that you watching on either Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Pro Wrestling Throwdown.
Or here on chat, we got one viewer. That's fine.
Can give us some questions.
However, it's time for birthdays
and bullshit.
Max, take it away.
All right. Let's see. Last week I ran all the way up to the 4th of July. So if you want to know who had birthdays last week, go back, watch some videos, and you can find out. I'm going to start out with today's birthdays.
All right.
Celebrating birthdays today. Today, Hillbilly Jim celebrates a birthday. Hillbilly Jim?
74.
No. Hillbilly Jim?
Hillbilly Jim.
67.
69.
Don't go messing with a country boy. Just saying.
Also, Adam Cole celebrates birthday
34.
32.
32.
32? Really?
32.
Yep. Damn.
32
God damn. I knew Adam Cole when he was skinny and had short hair. That's another story for another time.
See, tomorrow, Lars Sullivan has a birthday.
Oh, yeah?
33.
I wonder how many videos he's got out this week.
Actually, yes, 33.
Yeah.
33 years old.
Makes sense.
Thursday, nobody was born on Wednesday, so nobody has birthday.
Nobody's
no
ever
one
been
in the
born
history
on
of
Wednesday
professional wrestling.
Ever.
Not even in history. Yeah.
No.
Never. No one was ever born on actually, I think I was born on a Wednesday, believe it or not.
I don't
My birthday's on a Wednesday this year.
Nobody for the 7th, but on the 8th, on Thursday, I'll probably say this wrong, Marcel Berthel?
Marcel Berthel, yeah.
Yep. Marcel Berthel, he's one of the he's one of Imperium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old?
36. Lower than 30.
26. 25.
31.
Wow.
31.
I was way off.
Wow, yeah.
Samsonite.
He was one of the first ICW and remember the independent company that crossed over them in the UK in like 2014. He was one of the main eventers of that feud, but I can't remember the name of the UK company. It's when Grado really blew up.
Oh, WCCW.
Yep.
Looks like we have lost our Twitch
Nope, we're back.
feed. No, we are not.
Nope, we're not. All right. Well, y'all keep talking, and I'll figure this out.
Any more birthdays, my man?
Yes. Let's see. On the 9th, we actually have a few birthdays here. We got one of our
go live. Oh,
one of our finalists for our IC title tournament, Shelton Benjamin, has a birthday on the 9th.
Shelton Benjamin is 44.
46.
46.
Wow.
He will be 46 years old.
Could you realign that for us?
I will attempt to here.
Shelton Benjamin, if you're not aware, started an OVW under the tutelage of one.
Paul Heyman.
No. James E. Cornette.
I know. I'm just
How dare you?
Just messing
Shelton
with
Benjamin is also part.
Our screen is off.
Oh, well, that's your deal. Here.
Oh, no.
You figured that out while I explained who Shelton Benjamin
I think it's
Shelton Benjamin got his start in OVW as part of the Master Class. The Master Class consists of John Cena, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, Dave Bautista, and Shelton Benjamin. Debuted on SmackDown in 2002. Eventually, on SmackDown became part of the Team Angle with Charlie Haas and Kurt Angle, eventually becoming World's Greatest Tag Team. Shelton Benjamin then got drafted to Raw, beat Triple H his first 3 weeks in every single week over and over, became a 3-time Intercontinental Champion, eventually ECW World Champion, retired from the WWE, left the WWE after also culminating a number of WWE World Tag Team Championships, was briefly in Ring of Honor in 2009 through 2011 before re-signing with WWE and ECW and eventually coming back full-time to SmackDown 2 years ago. Was scheduled to debut 2 years ago, but his re-debut got postponed due to a shoulder surgery. Came back shortly after that, and now we know Shelton Benjamin as tag team partners with Chad Gable and numerous others.
Correct.
Shelton Benjamin's great.
Yes.
Sup, hoes? We back live on Twitch. It's happening, y'all. What up?
We got also on the 9th, celebrating birthdays with Shelton Benjamin. We have Andrew Everett, I believe from NXT.
I have a fucking clue who that is, but happy birthday, Andrew.
Yep. Yeah, happy 29th birthday, Andrew.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Salvatore Sincari, did I say that right?
Oh.
Sounds about right.
55 years old.
Wow.
And
is he one of the Puerto Rican guys, maybe? I don't really know his name, so I'm sorry for that.
I think he's another NXT guy.
Not at 55, he's not.
I don't know.
Salvatore Sincari, 55, just signed with NXT.
That closely, I apologize.
Got a picture on Twitter, Triple H like this.
That's right.
Also, celebrating his 62nd birthday, one big, sexy Kevin Nash. Big sexy
y'all,
Diesel.
Y'all,
you got too many names to come up with.
Y'all don't want to hear me do this.
I don't.
This on your life.
So I'm gonna ignore it.
Yeah.
How old?
Best thing he ever did was playing the Russian and the Punisher.
First of all, the best movie role he ever played was Super Shredder.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
First off,
God damn you! Don't you talk about Vinny Vegas?
Hold on,
aka Oz.
You talked enough. Hold on. Here's the deal with Kevin Nash. The single greatest thing he ever did was make sure that the boys got paid.
Yes.
Guaranteed money. That's the best thing that Kevin Nash did.
Kevin.
And by the way, I'm still waiting on my check. You can send it to me.
Can I have a minute with Kevin Nash? Just a couple minutes.
I don't know. Can we? Is that?
What do we got here?
Is that allowed on screen?
That's a TikTok thing. I don't know
who you are.
About it. Kevin Nash got his start early on in the territory days. Ended up signing with WCW, getting a national exposure as Vinny Vegas. Shawn Michaels, watching WCW one night, said, "You know what? That guy's got personality. We should call him." The agents in the WWE called him. And he's like, well, I've got some time left on my contract. And they say, well, and this is the time when tampering was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, let us know when you can get out of it. But if you can get out of it, give us a call. He goes to the office, asks for his release. The next day, gives the WWE a call. The following week, debuts on Raw as Shawn Michaels' bodyguard. And that started the Clique, which eventually leads to the NWO, DX, blah, blah, blah. Kevin Nash gets guaranteed money for everybody. But my favorite part of that whole conversation is when Shawn calls and gets Nash hired. While they're meeting, Shawn goes, just so you know, no one likes us.
Me, yeah.
And Kevin Nash goes, I'm getting paid. I don't give a fuck. That's what starts the Clique.
Yep.
Cue in after that, Scott Hall, Sean Waltman at the very last Triple H. Bada bing, bada boom. They promised each other they'd rule professional wrestling one day from separate sides of the coin, not knowing that 2 years later, Hall and Nash would leave for WCW, and that's exactly what they did. The only members of the Clique to not be world champions were Scott Hall and Sean Waltman. Scott Hall was AWA world champion. Justin Credible and Jeff Jarrett are pseudo-members of the Clique. The initial 5 members, not excluding China.
Even though I guess
Rude,
you could say Justin Credible because he was ECW.
PJ Polacco at the time, but also Jeff Jarrett, another member of the Clique.
Oh, there you go.
Kevin Nash is the shit. I also met him in Walmart when I was 8 years old. I confused him for my dad. He signed an NWO t-shirt when I worked with him on an RPW show some 11 years later. Remembered that exchange.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
It is awesome, by God.
I do have one more wrestling birthday on Saturday, the 10th.
Gilbert.
Gill.
Fantastic.
Will turn 62 years old.
You know, Dwayne Gill had balls that nobody else had for his size.
I'm telling you.
And here's the rub about that. No one ever predicted that WCW and WWF would go out of business and that WWF would absorb WCW. Glenn Gill never thought he'd meet Bill Goldberg.
No.
He does the gimmick, does the whole deal. 2 years after they close up, or I'm sorry, a year and a half after they close up, Goldberg comes back. They have one in-ring interaction, and Goldberg shoots on Glenn. No one ever talks about the fact that Glenn fucking didn't get beat up.
Yeah.
When Goldberg met him, was like, "Oh, you're mocking me." Glenn was like, "Motherfucker, they paid me. You want to hit me, hit me." But
Dwayne Gill was fantastic.
Money.
No,
I always wanted to see a Gilbert and Spike Dudley match. Always wanted that. Never happened.
Also, before we go through the birthdays and stuff, we'd like to send our condolences to the family of Don Wilkes, who is known as the Patriot.
The Patriot.
Has suffered a massive heart attack and passed this past week.
Also, if you didn't watch last week, again, our condolences to the family, Bobby.
Yes.
Love you, Bobby.
Don Wilkes was part of the what was before the American Males with Marcus Alexander Bagwell and the Patriot.
Yep.
And then, of course, most well-known was his run in '97 in WWF against the Canadian bad guys.
Yeah. Did the Patriot ever wrestle the Mountie?
No.
Goddamn, what a missed opportunity.
No, but he wrestled Brett.
Yes, I know he wrestled Brett.
Times for the heavyweight championship.
But the fact that he never wrestled the Mountie always gets me, because what a better way to build America versus Canada than the Patriot versus the Mountie.
Also was a I want to say a linebacker.
Yeah.
For an NFL team.
I'm
not sure of the team.
To say it was the Oakland Raiders. I could be wrong, but hold on.
No, that's nothing. That's
okay. Sorry.
I mean, Don Wilkes. It's a shame early to be taken as early as he was.
Man, just in his 50s. What a shame.
Was a hell of a talent. Carried the WWE in '97 when Austin was out with injury. Michaels was in and out through the time that he had took on Brett. There's a whole lot you can say. The man was built. He had the gimmick. The fans were behind him. He was everything that Lex Luger wanted to be during his run in WWE.
Yeah.
Well, since we're giving condolences out, I have some celebrity birthdays I want to go over. We don't have a whole lot of bullshit, but I imagine it's going to come along with the conversation.
Fantastic.
No, but condolences-wise, actually, Brian Dennehy would have had a birthday coming up.
Brian Dennehy.
We lost him back in last year. Brian Dennehy played he was in all kinds of stuff. Played Tommy Boy's dad.
Yeah.
Chris Farley's dad and Tommy
You ever seen South Park? Bigger, Longer, and Uncut?
And
when they're singing Brian Boitano was like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
I'm Brian Dennehy.
Who the fuck's Brian Dennehy?
Well, he was
rest
one
in
of my
peace.
We lost him the last year.
B minus.
Also, condolences-wise, here fairly recently, we lost just last month. We lost Ned Beatty.
Yes.
Not Ned Beatty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yes. I don't think that I had realized that.
That's a shame.
Yes, I was ashamed. We lost him last month. But that's enough of the deaths, enough of the condolences.
Yeah, enough of the sad stuff.
Some birthday. I went through a whole bunch of birthdays and just kind of pulled out some few people that
let's hear it, I
thought were relevant. One being one of my favorite people, Gary Busey.
Oh, man, the Busey.
Yes. Celebrated his 77th.
You ever have a lit cigar put out on your neck?
Come on.
You gotta love Gary Busey. You don't know who he is. You're probably too young to be watching.
I wrote a screenplay called Four Crazy Bastards about Busey, Charlie Sheen. Oh God!
You could have took my money after.
It's the guy James Woods. Gary Busey, Charlie Sheen, and I don't remember the fourth guy. I'm sure it'll come to me. But the idea was that they were all college professors who got furloughed, and Kevin Spacey was the dean of the college.
John Malkovich used to be in there.
No, not him. Fuck him. I met him. He's a prick.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Either way, God damn it. It's going to bother me until I remember who the fourth guy is. Either way, it was about 4 college professors who get laid off and they go on a road trip. But Busey was the philosophy professor.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Also, I don't know if anyone realizes this, but Gary Busey is now a judge on his own TV show settling disputes with people and their pets.
That's insane.
It's called Gary Busey, Pet Judge.
I need to see
It's
this.
fantastic.
I need to see this. Let's see who else. Who else?
Who we got?
Dan Aykroyd.
Oh man,
one of the great actors of our time.
Hold on. Go.
Yeah.
Keep saying what you're saying.
How old?
How old?
How old is he? He just celebrated his birthday on the 1st.
68.
69.
I was off by 1.
69.
He ain't afraid no
Elwood
ghost.
J. Blues.
Also an avid and huge wrestling fan.
Oh yeah, really?
Yes.
Dennis Leary. Dennis Leary was the first guy in my.
But yeah, Dan Aykroyd, huge wrestling fan.
Who shared his birthday? Liv Tyler shared his birthday.
Liv Tyler.
Carriage House. She was my first love. I watched Armageddon every single night before I went to bed.
I wore that tape.
You know this for a fact.
That's why I said tape.
Actually,
because
you both
DVDs didn't exist.
I watched Armageddon every single night to go to bed to my senior year of high school. Every single night for Liv Tyler.
She turned 44 years young.
A lot of pausing in that video.
And you cannot tell one bit.
I still have time. She's only 44. Liv, baby.
Take a shot.
I'll make it happen.
Right now.
I'm going to run through some of these. You guys just chime in as who you want. Let's see. Kevin Hart celebrated his 42nd birthday on the 6th. Or tomorrow.
Kevin Hart. Nice. Also, avid wrestling fan.
Along with Sylvester Stallone turning 75.
Stallone's done wrestling movies.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Rush will turn 70 years old. Captain Barbossa.
The best character in the Pirates franchise and also Casanova Frankenstein.
Of course he's Casanova Frankenstein.
Zoogie and Zaboogie, yeah.
See,
my favorite.
Curtis 50 Cent Jackson will turn 46 years old.
He was in Def Jam's Vendetta.
50 Cent's not 50 yet?
Let's see. Wolfgang Puck is going to cook Kevin Bacon on the 8th. No, Wolfgang Puck will turn 72. Kevin Bacon will turn 63.
Kevin Puck?
Wow.
Yes.
Wait. Repeat that?
I said Wolfgang Puck is going to cook Kevin Bacon for dinner on the 8th.
No, repeat their ages.
Wolfgang Puck will turn 72, and Kevin Bacon will turn 63.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought you said that their ages were reversed, and I was like, "There's no way that Kevin Bacon's older than Wolfgang Puck."
I don't know. He looks a little dried out.
Loved you in Footloose.
Let's see who else.
Still love you in Footloose.
Margot Robbie has celebrated her 31st birthday on the 2nd, along with Lindsay Lohan turning 35. And get this, guess who shares that birthday with us, Coach? Larry David. Turning 74.
Larry David.
And I can only imagine what he would have to say about those two girls.
Carriage House.
Look, I'm not going to say y'all can't talk nothing about Margot Robbie because
I love Margot Robbie. Absolutely.
Oh, you mean the other Alexa Bliss? I got you.
Yes.
Or the younger girl from Joe Dirt. Her name I can never remember.
Jamie Presley.
Thank you.
Speaking of the other Alexa Bliss. Carriage House.
Oh, yes.
Well, speaking of carriage houses.
Okay.
On the 10th, Sofia Vergara will turn 49 years old. Cannot tell.
Yeah, she looks good.
Along with Jessica Simpson turning how old?
34.
36.
No.
41.
41 years old.
No shit. Jessica Simpson?
We're old.
Well, you're old. I'm still young.
And we have on the 9th, Jack White, the White Stripes.
Also, avid wrestling fan.
46 years old.
I was going to say 47.
I knew he was a big wrestling fan. He shares his birthday with one of my favorite actors of all time, Mr. Tom Hanks.
54.
65 years old.
Wow. Yeah, he's in his 60s.
And he is... What comes to me here recently, having watched one of my favorite movies of his now, is he played Mr. Rogers in the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood movie, and it was absolutely wonderful.
Pop quiz,
I felt like a kid again watching Mr. Rogers.
Do you know Tom Hanks' first mainstream movie role?
Are you giving this to him or me?
Him.
Big.
Nope.
Splash.
Nope.
How half the people watching probably don't know what any of these are.
Monsters and Mazes.
Yes.
Oh,
That weird D&D knock.
Yep.
The only thing on his whole Rolodex of movies that weren't that good was his first film.
Yeah.
And after that, he set box office record after record after record.
How many people, more or less, I'm gonna say bomb their first movie, and then go on to
not only that,
he wasn't a main star in that movie either.
Not only that, he had his first televised role was, correct me if I'm wrong, was in Growing Pains as the mother's brother.
No.
When he was the alcoholic.
His first televised role was in Bosom Buddies, where him and his roommate dressed as women.
Okay.
That was his first TV role, which ran like 84, 85.
Okay, so after that would have been directly
after
Growing
that would have
Pains
been
when he played the alcoholic brother. That's how we learned you could get drunk off of vanilla. From Tom Hanks.
That's actually legit.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, learned it.
And we do have one more celebrity birthday.
Okay.
Uno mas?
Almost as great as Tom Hanks. Born on the 4th of July, but actually born on the 3rd of July.
Sorry. Born on the 4th of July. Sorry.
Not even how that song goes.
Whatever.
Tom Cruise will turn 59 years old. Now, if you get my
61.
Born on the 4th of July reference, you're probably too old to be watching this.
Yeah, probably.
First of all,
or you're just old enough.
That's how Springsteen's Born on the 4th of July goes.
No, Tom Cruise was in a movie called Born on the 4th of July.
But Bruce Springsteen wrote a song called Born on the 4th of July.
No, he did. Born in the USA.
Born in the USA, whatever. It was Born in the USA. Never mind.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's okay, though.
Yeah, you're right.
It's okay.
You're right.
It's the same thing.
It's,
Hello, Bethany. It was the same thing.
Oh, God.
There's Merry Birthdays and bullshit.
Tom Cruise. Okay. Luke?
Yes.
Connect Tom Cruise to professional wrestling. We'll see if you and I get to the same place at the same time.
I'll get there quicker. I can get there. Hold on. I can connect Tom Cruise to professional wrestling.
Oh, I've got two.
I've
got two moves.
3.5 moves.
I've got two.
Go for it.
Tom Cruise played the agent in Tropic Thunder with Jack Black. Jack Black was in Nacho Libre.
True.
That's two moves.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was going a little different. I would say Tom Cruise was in the movie The Mummy. The Mummy was also a movie with Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser was in The Mummy Returns with The Rock. The Rock's a professional wrestler, therefore Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Professional wrestler.
Yeah, but The Mummy's a remake of the original Brendan Fraser flick, which is fantastic.
Yes.
The best Universal movie. One of the still, ironically, top rating Universal movies ever made. But if you wanted to cut out 1.5 movies because you're not a fuck, Tom Cruise was in Tropic Thunder with Jack Black. Jack Black was in Nacho Libre, which is actually a movie all about wrestling. So you're rocking, I'm right. Just putting that out there.
It's a good. Get the fuck off me. No, but Tom Cruise, actually, you can connect him numerous different ways.
Oh, yeah. You could do
because he's been in everything.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can do what wasn't Batista Batista was a villain in James Bond, not Mission Impossible. Sorry. Yeah, in the second to last.
Yeah, I don't remember which one. I stopped watching after the third one,
or maybe it was Mission Impossible. Batista was in one of the spy movies.
He was in Mission Impossible.
It was Mission Impossible or James Bond. I can't remember which one of the two.
He was in James Bond.
Maybe
sure.
You're thinking of My Spy.
He was also a spy in My Spy.
No one's thinking of My
Spy was a good movie.
Damn it! That movie, you're such a mouth.
Well, that's no accounting for taste. Jesus. All right. Hey, look. Do we want to take some of these devices and go smoke?
No, because we're not allowed to due to the
bullshit. I'm allowed to do whatever I want
due to the community guidelines. So what we'll do is we have covered birthdays. We have covered some of the news that bridged off into.
We didn't really have a lot of news this week.
Holy wow of stuff that we did.
Well, we got to do a nice in-depth conversation about Ricochet.
Yes.
We talked about it in JPW's deal.
It's our first live stream.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are probably interested in this whole Paul White and Shaquille O'Neal ordeal.
Oh.
So let's give them something about that.
Before we go out of here, so AEW is going to go further with Shaq versus Big Show, formerly Big Show.
Yes.
They have not formally produced anything on television to indicate it, other than interviews with Shaq saying that now that they don't have the training wheels that WWE had, they're going to do it. And remember, Shaq works for TNT, so it's a much closer thing than we think of. It's probably going to happen, if I were a guess, not at Fyter Fest, but probably a Road Rage, or I'm sorry, Full Gear, their next pay-per-view before All Out. Or they might even save it for their big All Outs or big shows, so that could be when it happens. But Shaq versus Big Show is on the docket. They have not yet announced when or how or any other plans other than that it's going to happen.
Okay, before we step out, I'm going to give the floor to the chat room for a second. I'm going to give you a couple minutes. Is there anything that you would like us to talk about before ending the live stream?
Hit us up, dog.
Could be anything.
Come on, Bethany.
Woo!
Counting on you. Woo! Woo!
Armbar.
Sorry. Armbar. Yeah. Man, just while we're talking, I watched
Cena versus Roman SummerSlam.
Yes. So Cena is in talks to be there, and they are talking about promoting that. The only thing that hurts Cena is the same thing that hurts Rock, is whether or not Universal is going to cover their insurance. That's why Rock, originally the plan was for Rock and Roman at WrestleMania, but Universal said that they wouldn't. The insurance was going to contradict. So The Rock is teed up for Survivor Series, but currently it looks like Cena just wrapped up filming for his next movie after Fast, and he will be in attendance for SummerSlam against Roman Reigns.
Also, when you look at this is what I'm looking forward to in this match, and that is that now that Cena has come back here, we're going to have fans again.
Yes, sir.
Now that Roman has owned the character and has been able to cut these promos and been able to work in private, seeing how these two will interact in front of a live audience will either make or break Roman Reigns.
Well, the nice thing is that Roman, while his mic skills have developed, his current character isn't, because you're not wet when you're in water, you're only wet when you're out of water. It's a whole conversation for another time, Bethany. Roman, when he did the Fastlane bit with Cena in 2017, Roman's mic skills weren't up to par. And while they are now, Roman also didn't have Paul Heyman. Roman's in the position now where he can cut a promo or he doesn't have to, because Heyman will.
Being in water.
And let's be fucking clear. Nobody cares about Roman versus Cena if they can get Heyman versus Cena on the mic and Roman versus Cena in the ring. Let Heyman and Cena have all the conversations. Heyman can talk about how Roman's the future, how Roman's this, how Roman's that. Cena can talk about how he held the WWE up for 10 years on his shoulders while Roman was wetting his beak, blah, 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 blah. If you take Heyman out of that equation, the promos don't matter as much. It's got to be Heyman versus Cena on the mic, and it's got to be Roman versus Cena at SummerSlam.
When you talk about Heyman and Cena on the mic, that brings up yet another point for SummerSlam that we haven't touched on today, and that is Bobby Lashley
and Brock
Lesnar. Because the war of words between MVP
and Paul Heyman
is what you want to sell tickets.
And not to mention, Bobby Lashley, again, undefeated in Bellator, which until one championship came to the forefront was the secondary alternative to the UFC.
Right.
Bobby Lashley's also got an extensive, legitimate background. So does Brock. But Lashley was an NCAA world champion 3 times and then a 2-time National All-American in the United States Army. Bobby Lashley ain't no slouch.
No.
He's a badass. The fact also, a lot of people don't know this, Lashley's a vegan, which means all that muscle he puts on, that ain't steroids and that ain't chicken protein. That's him in the gym. 16 out of 24 hours a day.
Former drill sergeant.
Putting on the No, he wasn't a drill sergeant.
Or former...
He's 100% all natural badass. So's Lesnar. Lesnar's corn-fed fucking chicken fried, I'm going to hit you in the face. You put MVP and Heyman on the mic, you let them talk it out, and you let Lashley and Lesnar do their thing in the ring, that's money. And that's money forever.
As long as you don't let either of those two actually sing.
No, because Lesnar can't talk and Lashley has Mike Tyson problem. Mike Tyson, look,
guys.
Look, Mike Tyson hits harder than any known boxer in record, but he talks like my 12-year-old says.
Because he never needed to talk.
Right. Didn't have to. Same with Leslie. Good Lord. Same thing with Lashley. Lashley.
First off, hold on,
should
wait a minute.
Talk.
Bobby Lashley. He called you Leslie. His name's Caleb
I'm
Black.
sorry.
He's on Facebook.
I'm sorry, Bobby.
If you
Bobby,
call
I
me
apologize.
or leave a comment, I'll give you his address.
But no, Bobby Lashley, again, when you look at their legitimate experience, they could go into a wrestling ring and make something believable happen. They both got legit wrestling. They both got legit MMA, fighting, boxing. Then add in the fact that Lashley's not a slouch in the ring as far as the showmanship aspect. Neither's Lesnar. It should be it doesn't have to be a long match. Give me 13 minutes of those two slamming and hitting each other as hard as they can with each of them getting back up. I'm sold. Why? Because, again, Lesnar and MVP did all the work. Or, I'm sorry, Heyman and MVP.
Yeah,
same thing,
right?
Same thing with Cena and Heyman.
Leslie? Is that what you said?
Cena and Leslie. No, Heyman and Cena could talk all day. Roman is now better in the ring than he's ever been.
Yes.
Cena's been away long enough that we all kind of give him the forgiveness.
Right.
Like he's got the fans would like to see him come back at this point because he's not shoved down our throats.
Well, here's the deal, too. Cena in an interview with Jimmy Fallon just 2 weeks ago, they asked him about coming back and with the fans and everything. And he said that right now is the perfect time for Roman Reigns and him because Roman has had the chance to work the gimmick and to live the gimmick.
Yep. And unlike The Rock, Cena isn't tied into everything. Cena can go to Hollywood, get some, if you don't go away, why would we miss you?
Right.
Get some of that good love, come back. Doesn't have to overstay his welcome because in 3 months he's got to go back and film. If The Rock wanted to make a return, he can do that a month at a time. That's it. That's all Hollywood would allow. And in fairness, let's be fair, Rock is now, he's going to be pushing 50 soon. As much as we all love to say we love to see The Rock,
I believe he turned 50 this year.
Right. How far is he going to go? He's going to wrestle Roman, make a ton of money, come back and wrestle somebody, make a ton of money.
The Rock has to come in, and what he would do is pass the torch.
Needs to come in, get in while the getting's hot, and get out. Cena could afford to stay a little while, get some of that go away love, not even heat, go away love, come back.
Johnson turned 49 years old on May 2nd.
All right, 49. Wow. So, again, he's pushing 50. Cena's pushing 43, 44.
Right.
So, Cena goes away, comes back, gets some of the admiration, can wrestle Roman, can do that bit, go away, come back in another few months, maybe wrestle Seth if he wanted to, or another year or so.
That was my next point. And that's you've got Roman and Cena.
Yeah.
You've got Lashley and Lesnar.
Exactly.
And then you've got the other one they're working on, which is Seth Rollins and Edge.
That match is tailor-made for guys like us.
So actually, I just seen where Yanni put or bring Seth into the picture. Well, Seth
Triple H or bring back Seth into the picture and Fatal 4-Way. Yeah, Seth is keyed up to wrestle Edge at SummerSlam.
Yes.
Now, let's look at the ultimate opportunist and the Rated R Superstar versus the Architect.
Yeah.
It's parallel for parallel, the same career. Both Royal Rumble winners.
Yes.
Both cashed in their Money in the Bank opportunities to be world champions. Both
Edge was the first. Rollins was the first to do it at Mania.
At Mania.
Yeah.
Both of them come out of 3-man groups.
Yes.
Both of them aspired out of tag teams, multiple-time tag team champions. Both of them are Grand Slam champions. That match sells itself.
Both of them have come back from career-ending injuries.
Both are married to former WWE Women's Champions.
Yeah.
If you look at every little parallel, it's perfect because Seth Rollins is the modern-day Edge.
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
There. So, SummerSlam right now, dream card is Cena and Roman.
Yep.
Lashley and Lesnar.
Yep.
Leslie. Seth and Edge.
Yes.
So, okay, we've got enough time here. We've got, I think, 4 or 5 more minutes to fill.
Okay.
What would you put against those 3 matches? Let's say an 8-match card. You got 5 more to fill out.
Well, see, first, okay.
Now, let's consider, hold on, rules at home. Only current superstars
signed
to the WWE, not contracted to AEW, or could be surprises within the realm. Austin's not coming back.
No.
Hogan's not coming back. Let's cut those out. But within the realm of how this could work, you got 3 marquee matches. What else would you do?
The very next step I would go, it would be bring Bray Wyatt back in.
To wrestle
SummerSlam, the fans are there.
To wrestle who is my question.
Honestly, It depends on if the draft was to take place or not.
Okay.
If the draft was to take place, if Finn Balor is talking about wanting to go back to the main roster,
you think the Demon versus the Fiend?
You get the Demon and the Fiend.
I thought that as well.
After underneath that, I say Pat McAfee's already on SmackDown. Call Adam Cole up and have them do their thing at SummerSlam.
I like that.
It's proven to work on NXT. Yeah. You're going to get it in front of fans, which you didn't get the first time.
Yeah.
Or
that's fine.
Here's the thing: bridge in NXT. Sure. Give me Joe and Cross at SummerSlam.
Joe and Cross. Okay, that's 6.
Okay. Women's. Give me Bianca Belair to defend the SmackDown Championship against Becky Lynch.
Okay, that's 7.
And in my opener, why not? Man, it's difficult. Open the card. Asuka. No, wait, no. Who's the women's champion on Raw?
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley. Alexa Bliss for the championship.
Really?
Yes.
I would save that to Mania area, maybe Survivor Series or something. That's just me, though.
Well, but you can do that gimmick that she's doing in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
You can have Bray Wyatt return.
Yeah.
Cost her, where in turn she would cost him against Finn Balor.
Sure.
And then you're off to the races for Survivor Series for that feud.
Yeah.
But bring Bray Wyatt back in the fold. Adam Cole and Pat McAfee's guaranteed money.
Oh, yeah.
We know that. We've seen it twice now. Joe and Cross is something they're building to. While I don't, like I said, this is a fantasy. This isn't actually going to take
we're
place.
Just talking.
But if we're just talking, and you've seen the product for NXT in the last couple weeks, I want Cross and Joe.
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah.
I want it more than I want Walter and Dragunov too.
Yeah.
I want it. That's my match. That's what I want.
See, if I'm booking SummerSlam, we've got our 3 marquee matches. I'll remind you guys that may have lost the thread. It's Roman and Cena. It's Lesnar and Lashley. It's Edge and Rollins. 4th, I'd go Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks too. Rematch from WrestleMania. Let them have a minute in the spotlight. And also, I'd go a little differently with the Raw. I'd go Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. Because Rhea is really the organic kind of fan build to Becky. And honestly, that might be a match you want to save for Mania. But if Becky's coming right back.
The only problem I have with that is that Rhea Ripley's on Raw.
Yeah. I'd put Becky on Raw.
I would put Becky on SmackDown.
I wouldn't put Becky on SmackDown because I want her to stay as far away from Seth as possible. But that's because what I don't want is I don't want that couple dynamic. I want them doing separate things.
Correct.
That's just me.
But if I was to put Becky on SmackDown, my selling point for SmackDown would be is we would get to see matches that we haven't already seen 80,000
But also,
times.
You've not seen Becky and Rhea Ripley.
You know what I want?
No, we haven't. But
that's why I'm saying that for SummerSlam.
But with that title, then you've got nothing but Asuka again, Nia Jax again, Shayna Baszler again, Charlotte Flair again.
However, let's consider this for a minute. Rhea Ripley beats Asuka. There are a lot of matches we haven't seen Rhea have on Raw. Mm-hmm. If Becky wins, the draft follows up. Yeah. So we get some fresh matches there too. That's why I'm saying those matches there. What is that? 5 matches?
Yes.
That I named off? For my 6th match, I would do a tag match. I'd probably do the Usos versus Mysterios just to close that out.
Yeah.
Get that done with. Get the tag belts on the Usos. That way we can go back to SmackDown and focus on that. For my NXT crossover match, I would do Walter and Balor, which is what they planned on. Remember, pre-pandemic, I say this all the time. Pre-pandemic, the plan was to go Balor and Walter. That's where I'd close that out. Because Balor's going to take the beating. He's going to sell. He's also going to throw that interesting offense against Walter that's going to put Walter on his toes. And that match is going to be a 5-star fucking clinic anyway. Right. For my 8th match, I would probably do, and I know that, I'd probably do Shinsuke and Sami Zayn. Or Shinsuke, an Intercontinental title match featuring Shinsuke and someone who's going to work with him because...
Well, you mean the Intercontinental Champion Apollo Crews?
Well, no, in that division, but here's why.
Riddle.
Riddle's on Raw. The reason I'm saying Shinsuke is that they put the crown on him. That's going to translate over into King of the Ring after SummerSlam. And they're going to get some mileage out of Shinsuke because at the end of this year, he's going back to Japan if he doesn't resign. So my thought is, let's get the work out of Shinsuke. Let's have him open the show with someone like Sammy who's going to put on that fucking
Let's have him come to the crowd for the crowd to sing his theme song. It makes sense.
Shinsuke and Cesaro.
Oh, don't do that.
Shinsuke speed, Cesaro's power. Like, that's a fucking open.
Okay, first off, Cesaro should be Roman Reigns' #1 contender.
At WrestleMania, not at SummerSlam.
No, but I mean now, period.
At WrestleMania.
Before Money in the Bank.
Let him win at Mania. Let him get the big win. Let him beat the guy who defeated the Tribal Chief.
Also, you could always have Big E cash in.
You could, yeah. Yeah, we haven't got to Money in the Bank yet. Yeah. We don't know who's going to be using what.
Big E.
Yeah.
What's your final one?
Yeah, what's your final match?
That was it.
You said 8.
No, that was 9.
There's 8.
It was 8.
There's only 8 matches.
Oh. Yeah. I did the first 3.
I thought you were going to
Becky. No, just 8.
Just 8.
Yeah, Becky and Rhea.
I'm going to throw something out.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Now I just want you guys to let this marinate a little bit. Riddle, Rey Mysterio.
I would enjoy Riddle and Rey Mysterio. I would enjoy.
I don't know.
I would enjoy the breakup of Rated R.
I would enjoy
in general. Just in
general.
I think
Riddle
personally,
I think that'd be absolutely.
I think it'd be
insane.
good. I think that their styles clash just enough that it could either be really good or be really bad.
Yeah.
But if you did Riddle and Dominic,
Ooh.
And here's why: Riddle could kind of lead. Riddle's offense doesn't lead to being typical WWE offense, and neither does Ray's.
Right.
But Ray could have that style of match with pretty much anyone.
Right.
If it was Riddle and Dominic, number one, it's different. Number two, we get to see that kind of legitimacy side from Riddle, and 2, we get that surprise stuff out of Dominic. If it's Riddle and Ray, it's going to be a great match. But I don't know that it's
been learning from the best of all time.
That's what I would want. I would want Riddle and Orton. I want a breakup, and I'd want to see that.
I do.
See, again, I'd like to see Dominic and Orton.
I'd like to see RK Bro versus Mysterio.
See, Dominic, my thing with Dominic is that he's so young, he hasn't had time to fuck up yet. He hasn't had time to learn how to be a bad wrestler.
Right.
You put him in early with a guy like Orton who's going to lead the match, he's going to sell his ass off. Right. He's going to get the fire. Orton's going to bump for him.
I see Riddle
and
be turning into that.
And Dominic's athletic enough that if we wanted a big fucking surprise RKO out of nowhere, that you could get it and it would be new. It wouldn't be the same thing we've seen. We've seen Orton RKO 4, 5, 6 different guys coming off the top rope. We've seen Orton fucking RKO guys coming out of 450s or swantons or whatever. Dominic's athletic enough and also tall enough that if they did something just a little different, it would look just nasty. Riddle would do a backflip, and he would bump it and sell great for it. But again, Dominic's 2 inches taller than Riddle. Dominic's 6'3", 6'4". He is. He's huge.
Yeah, he's
really
tall.
He's mutantly tall.
You don't realize
that WWE landscape.
You don't realize it because he's always standing next to Rey Mysterio.
But even
he already looks tall.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's sick.
So if he got some of that, if he got some of that athleticism with those long, lanky legs and contorted his body or bent the right way, that RKO would it'd be nasty.
Then you got
be nasty
Riddle
as fuck.
and Mysterio who are almost the exact same size.
Yeah.
Riddle's taller. Riddle's got that legitimate.
Maybe a little bit.
I
think I'm just
not a lot.
The thing with Riddle and Ray is Riddle's legitimate MMA and athleticism would look really good paired against Ray.
Right.
But it's going to look good enough that it's not going to look different. It's going to be a great professional wrestling match between 2 contrasting
versus the Mysterios. Ladder match for the tag team.
Only if Orton double catches both Mysterios with a double RKO coming out of something flippy. Then you can have it because I've finished on it. And it's all over the place.
It'd be an old school mid-90s kind of match.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
Oh, yeah. Well, Orton would slow the Mysterios down. They do the flippy stuff.
Would it be for the belts or would it be for ownership of Dominic? Because we've done this before.
Orton wouldn't have to slow him down that much.
It'd be really funny if Orton came out and be like, I'm Dominic's boss.
I'm your pappy.
I'm that boy's pappy boss. I don't know why. If they ever turn Dominic heel, they have to extrapolate. Exactly.
You're not my real dad, are you?
They have to go off the fact that Ray lied about being his father. They have to do that.
Now, here's the deal. They touched on that with Seth Rollins,
and
then they just let it go.
No, they were going to do the dollar thing when she was in love with Buddy Murphy. Yeah. And paid it up. Dominic needs to turn on Ray and just legit be like, you lied to me. You told me Eddie Guerrero was my father. He was my papi. And they need to make Dominic heel, and they need to have him beat Ray, and then he needs to take Ray's mask and wear it as a trophy.
You know what I've noticed?
What's that? Tell me.
The Mysterios, they're just a bad luck
guys. Bad track record.
Seriously.
Really?
Buddy Murphy comes in.
Yeah. Gets into a hot, heavy angle with Ray and his daughter.
With Ray's daughter.
Gone.
They're in love. He goes face. 3 weeks later, nothing said. He comes back and is like, Seth, take me back, man. I made a mistake.
2 months.
And then 2 weeks later, he's
off TV, gone. Rey Mysterio in an incredibly hot, look, believably or not, hot feud with Ray. Tragedy strikes.
Yeah. So you're saying don't get in a feud with Ray.
Look at how Dean Malenko, Parkinson's. Jericho, fat, out of shape at AEW. Benoit, dead.
Punk out of the business.
Punk out of the business. Fucking JBL out of the business. Kane out of the business. Big Show works for another guy. Rey Mysterio
Shawn Michaels, bald-headed, retired.
Rey Mysterio is the death sentence of professional. No, I'm sorry, Ray. I'm sorry.
No, but seriously, though.
Stop fucking with me. Kurt Angle wrestled him, retired 6 weeks later, and went to Orlando to make half the money.
Well, he made
actually
he made a lot of money.
Paid Kurt Angle a ton of money.
Let's be fair. Yeah. Thank you,
Chavo Guerrero. Edge
showed up. You forget, showed up in Lucha Underground. Canceled.
2 weeks after that. See, Rey Mysterio, bad for business. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning into our live stream. This was a lot of fun. So next week, we're going to promo a little bit. Next week, we'll have the culmination of the IC title tournament. We're going to do the points recap, where we all stand in our points race. Next week, I will finally do my Danhausen tribute. I've got a week off to plan for it now, so that's going to get done because I lost in our previous points tournament. We're going to have a lot of news, updates. We're going to have some new games. We're going to
punch him in the groin.
Well, he's going to give it a shot. He's not that tall.
Who do you love?
So make sure you guys tune in. Again, follow us on Twitter at Pro Wrestling TD. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Throwdown. Send us an email at prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com. And as always, from Max.
Well,
yep.
See this like button right here? Hit
please
this.
Like, subscribe, share us to your friends via all of your social medias.
Yes,
from
please.
Max, from Luke, and from myself, as always, keep it in the ring. Now I got to shut you off. And